welcome back to another episode of On the Couch. So today we've changed things up a little bit. We've got some guests that we've invited into the studio. So I just would like to welcome Kurt, Tiro, who is all the way from Kimberley, and we have Simon Bunda. So welcome, gentlemen, to today's On the Couch.
Thank you for having us.
Really is good. So again, the format just opened, not overly serious, just delving into some stuff. So again, I thank you very much for coming out here. And the first question is going to come out of, did you receive 100 CPD points for being on the show? Let's just get that out of the way.
I thought we weren't supposed to talk about that.
But yeah, I think, again, from PIRB's point of view, it's about understanding from the plumbers, and I think that's the reason why we've got you gentlemen in today. So that you can ask us questions, and we can also ask questions of yourselves, and then get into who you are. So Kurt, if we can kick off with you, who are you? What is Kurt? Who's Kurt Lemmer?
So I'm a plumber by trade. I've been doing it, I think it's about 15 or 16 years now. I've had my own business now. This will be my 11th year. And we're based in Joburg and in Durban for the plumbing side, and we are obviously qualified with Red Seal, and then we've got qualification. Well, we've for the PRB side.
Okay, wonderful. And Simon, yourself?
My name is Michael Sunani.
Michael, sorry.
Yes, from Limpopo. I'm here in Joburg. I started working plumbing in 2004, and I write my trade test 2016. There by Ndlela in Olifantsfontein. Then I'm now registered with PIP as a licensed plumber.
And Tiro, on your side?
Hi, Chris. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here on this. I'm honored to be part of this On the Couch. We are a company based in Kimberley. I am the company owner of Kimberley Handyman, and we service Kimberley via many of our customers that are insurance-based. And we've got 2 licensed plumbers within our company, and all of them they've got many, many years of experience, and the company is 5 years old.
Okay, wonderful. So getting into this, the one question that comes up all the time, and I'll kick off with you, Kurt, and the same question to every one of you. How difficult is CPD for you? How difficult is CPD?
So I would say it is all about time for me. So running a business and then still trying to find the time to do CPD can be challenging. I'm not going to lie about that. But it's not difficult to, once you're doing it, it's not difficult to understand the standard. The thing is, if you don't understand the standard, then you need to go through the requirements or phone PRB or IOPS and ask them that. So it's not difficult to do. It's like going to school and not understanding a subject. You need to have a teacher to teach you. So you do have people like you that can help us on that. But it's not difficult once you understand the regulation. Then you can do the CPD points. You can do your exam through that to make sure that you get your certificate for what you've done.
Okay, perfect. And Michael?
For me, it's not so difficult. The only problem that I've got is the time, because most of the time I'm doing more sites, one man with 2 assistants. But soon as I realized that, okay, yes, as this time, I must recover back to my CPD points. Then I had to go back and sit down and listen Steve Brown and the other one on the webinar earlier in the morning from 7 o'clock until 7:30. And after that, I make sure that late, 7:30, I go back to my laptop, then I open it, then I just listen all the webinars. Where I need to write, I write and submit. Then also I need to do the voluntary work somewhere so that I can accumulate more and more so that I can close the gap, because I know at the end of the year I need to renew my license, and I can't keep my license out of line. I need to be up to date.
Thank you, Michael. And Tiro, how are you guys finding it?
We love it because CPD makes sure that you are up to date with industry standards and you are professional and you keep servicing your clients with the utmost excellence that they need. So it's a platform for us to have where we don't have to go and search out information for ourselves. It's there, it's given to us, and it updates us, and it keeps us professional. It keeps us giving better plumbing for all, like IOPSA says. So I absolutely love it, and it's a great way to also just rank and rate. I'm just thinking, if I'm a customer, I would like to, employ a plumber that is up to date with the industry standards, because things change over time, and you don't want for example, your geyser being installed by a plumber who is not aware that a certain compliance has been introduced, and then they don't install according to that compliance. So I think it's a great thing, and thank you for introducing it, and we love it, and we just want to know how to make the most out of it.
Yeah, I think, you've used the word love like 3 times through that. So, well done. And I think it's something that gets so. So, we're going to jump into an ad break. So we'll be right back. Thank you.
Good day. How can I help you?
Hi, I'm here to log in my COCs, but I seem to be having an issue with my computer.
No problem. But did you know that you can log your COCs using an app on your cell phone?
Oh, what app is that?
It's called the App Plumber. Do you have a smartphone with you?
Yes, I do.
Oh well, let me show you how it works.
Not only can you access your PIRB profile on the App Plumber, but you can also earn CPD points while exploring the plumbing industry in the palm of your hand. Download the app from Google Play Store and join thousands of other happy users. The PIRB Master Plumber Recognition Program has officially arrived. As an essential service to society, there must be constant growth and development within this important and ever-changing industry. Developed by the PIRB, the Master Plumber Recognition Program has launched as a new PIRB designation, allowing industry champions to take the lead. Skilled and experienced plumbers equipped to take the lead, enroll today to start your journey in becoming a recognized PIRB Master Plumber.
Welcome back again with our guests, and we're talking CPD, and we're talking about how CPD has benefited the plumbers, and we're hearing from the plumbers a bit of a change up. So as we're going through it, what were your initial feelings, Kurt, when CPD came up? I mean, it's something that's never been done in South Africa before. It's done in other parts of the world. So my question to you guys is what were your expectations? Trying to get something that's new in, how did it feel?
In the beginning, I was against it, because it was the extra time that I needed to spend now, and I thought I knew regulations, the journeyman that I had that taught me plumbing. I was like, but I know these regulations, and why am I having to do them again, and all these things. So it was definitely me fighting it until I started doing them and started realizing how much plumbing I actually don't know, and having to educate myself further on that was important. So it is important for me to keep doing the CPD points, and it started growing on me in a sense of going, okay, cool, now I'm actually excited to do more because I'm learning more all the time. And when I walk into a client's home and I walk into a commercial building, I'm able to look at the building differently because I understand the plumbing. When I see certain things, I'm not just going, I don't know what this is for, and I'm just going to tell the client I don't know what it is, but now I actually do. Now I know how the system works, why it works like this, why it was initially engineered to be like that, because of doing the CPD points and furthering myself as a plumber.
100%. Michael, your side?
My side, firstly, I think there is something that they need to stand on our way. Until I realized that it's the only easiest way to make sure that the plumbers, they're upgrading their skills and they learn each and every single minute, because each and every time or every minute, things in plumbing are changing, and we need to learn and understand how it goes with the flow. Because you can't say, I am a registered plumber, I know this and this. Somebody else somewhere is designing a new design, and you need to work on it and understand how it works. That is where I become aware and how important the CBD can be.
And Tira, your side?
Yeah, I think it's something that I already mentioned, but we, again, grateful for it, especially for our community, because the PIRB is a board that is ensuring that the community has plumbing that is done correctly, and standards are changing and evolving that is introduced through the PIRB, and then it gets through the CPD system, and the community has now excellence that they receive from us as service providers. So it's really just at the end of the day, for us, we want to serve our community with excellence, and so we again love the CPD system because that's how we grow and evolve and get better at what we do, because we want to serve with excellence, because that's what we're about.
And then, I think great feedback coming back. But the one question that comes up all the time for me, you've got those plumbers that are negative. So in terms of this, and we've heard Michael, we've heard yourself, Tira and Kurt, but how's it benefited you personally and your business? How has CPD assisted you? We've heard about the negativity, but how has it benefited your business? Can you look at your business and say, my bottom line's better, or I'm a better plumber because of CPD? Is it something that you would go and say, yes, it definitely has?
Yeah, definitely. My bottom line has definitely improved because now I'm not just looking at a backup water system and going pump and tank. Now I'm going, is the flow valve enough? Is the pump big enough on flow rates? Is the piping done that it's UV stable? There's a whole bunch of things, bracketed correctly. All these things that now take into place. So this, now all of a sudden my bottom line comes up because I'm quoting correctly. I'm able to put in the proper material. And then also a major part for me that has benefited is my staff. So I'm not now teaching them incorrectly. I'm teaching them properly now by saying, this is the requirements by SANS. I'm now liable for this at the same time. It needs to be done correctly. So they are learning at the same time from me now because I'm teaching them how to make sure that everything is done right and correct. And then the client's also been put into a good standing, because the thing is now I'm not just quoting, I'm looking at the entire system and I'm running through the building or the house and going, but when we do this, understand, let's say for argument's sake that your pipe sizing is undersized in the home. I'm like, I'm going to give you a great system, but I'm not going to be able to give you what you want on demand because of these things. Yeah. So now not only am I looking at this, and I've taught my guys this, now they're also looking on sites and going, the client's complaining about this or this is happening. They are also be able to give me this feedback because of me being able to understand the regulations and learning on the CBD side. So it's definitely grown my business. My staff are very happy because they know more about plumbing, and my clients are very happy with me because now they're going, we were never told this before. Or this problem was never resolved. We didn't know why it wasn't resolved. Now all of a sudden they know why it was never resolved because the person who did the initial installation did it poorly, or they just didn't look further into the problem.
Okay. And then Michael, on your side?
I think also it did improve a lot, because now I haven't even done the stuff like over harvesting water. Now I'm able to do that. And also I'm able to tell the clients, this is how things will work, and this is not installed according to the SANS. You need to do this and this in writing, and from there, we take it from there and we improve the system. And also, I can see on my side also that if I do this and this, that will improve my CBD points also, because I need to read all the SANS and according to the law. It's not like you go into the site, you don't know what you're doing, but you need to there assess the site, see what's going to happen, understand the situation and the risk that is on site. That is the only thing that you need to bear in mind. You not just run and start doing that. You need to think before and organize everything. That is all I need to understand, and I'm happy about that.
Mm. And then, Tira, getting to you before we get into our ad break, in terms of your side, how's it benefited? I know we've got a duplication here in terms of the business, but, how's it affected you?
Yeah, I agree with the guys. It's affected us in bettering our staff, our plumbers in the field. They know now what is according to compliance, to what to look for, and how to assure the client that this is not supposed to be the way it is, and it gives them confidence as well to speak to the customer and assure them that we are going to assist you according to SANS code. We are going to make sure that the geyser is replaced according to SANS code and is compliant, and you will not have a problem with your manufacturer should your geyser burst within warranty, for example, because a lot of people don't even know, it's more about training and education as well for the community, because a lot of people don't know that if you hire a plumber or a person to do plumbing work commercially that is not doing it under the supervision of a licensed plumber, it's illegal, I think. So they don't know that. And when you come out to site, you are able to educate them, and they are now assured that, okay, I need to actually employ a licensed plumber who knows what they're talking about. So these things have benefited our company in that sense, to have that reassurance with the community that they are better off using a PRB licensed plumber for their own safety.
Thanks, Tiro. So we're going to go into an ad break, and then we'll just pick up in terms of a couple of other questions, and then obviously give you guys hopefully some easy questions for me. But and we'll get back to it. So let's go to an ad break. Thank you.
It's an exciting time to be a professionally registered plumber. The PIRB's leaderboard provides plumbers with the opportunity to be placed onto a ranking system to see how they perform amongst their peers around the country. This ranking system enables both plumbers and consumers to identify top local plumbers and monitor their performance nationally and regionally. Consumers will always look for the best, and at the top is where you'd want to be. It is therefore very important to be dedicated to continuously upskilling yourself through continuous professional development activities. The CPD points you accumulate during the CPD program will allow you to be rated on the leaderboard as you grow. The ranking system runs on a 3-month rolling average, where you can find yourself at the very top by accumulating more points than your peers. Top-ranked plumbers also stand a chance to win prizes through a lucky draw, where winners are announced on the PIRB's Plumbing 101 shows on YouTube. Do not miss out on the opportunity to be highlighted as an elite plumber in South Africa. Start accumulating points and become one of the best. Get skilled, get rewarded.
Welcome back. Again, we've got our special guest here today. And we're talking about CPD and how it's benefited and everything else. So now, you know, Kurt, you and I have spoken often. I mean, it's the first time we've actually met in person. We've been
100%.
talking for years, and, you know, it really is good to go there. But I think one of the questions comes up for me is a lot of individuals will go, it's difficult to communicate with PIOB. Is that an issue that you've ever had, you know, where they'll turn around and say that it's difficult working with PIOB? How have you felt it, Kurt? I mean,
So for me to get your phone number initially was very simple. Literally phone PRB. I said, listen, I've got some questions on sands. Is there someone that can help me on the technical side? No problem. Here's Steve's number. Phone Steve. Then our conversation started from there. That was it. Simple.
And we communicate often. I mean, you know,
100%.
about WhatsApp. And do I give you all the answers?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because that's the one thing that, you know, people seem to think, and you raised it last time we chatted, is that sometimes, you know, I'll use it to guide. Some guys will go, I just wanted the answer to the question. But so
I think
can you
that's
answer
wrong.
that? How's that helped you?
No, I think that's wrong because then you don't understand the regulation yourself and where to look for it. I mean, we've spoken before where I've had to do a CSC in the house. That was the recent one we were speaking about, and I wasn't sure about some stuff. And he said, look, Kurt, go look here, but I'm not going to tell you under which annexure it falls under, but go and look there. I went and looked there, phoned you back. We had a discussion about it because I also felt that the SANS regulation wasn't clear, and I feel that there could have been something that you now debated on it.
That's it.
And the thing is, it was great because I had to read through a lot of content. I learned stuff on the way there as well, reading through it, but it's not the right way for you just to say to me straight away, this is the answer, because I'm not going to understand it properly. And also, then that's not the way it should be done.
And Michael, on your side?
I find it very easy. I've got any problem, I phone the PIP direct. I talked to the ladies there by the office. I said, look, here's my problem. I'm looking this man or this lady. I need to find out what's happening here because this sounds, it doesn't correspond according to this and this. So she will ask me exactly, what do you prefer us to? SMS you, phone you, or email? Direct, email me. That is the only way, and it's easy and simple for me to communicate with people. And I never had any problem with people.
Okay. And Tira, on your side, how's it been? Communication-wise?
Communication has always been not a difficult thing. We always do get through to PRB. Are we talking about communications to the PRB?
Yeah, to PIOB. If you ever had a problem or you had an issue or your registration or your CPD, how have you felt it?
No, it's been very easy. I mean, I think just getting through to the number that's on the website, it's always answered, and I'm always directed to the right person to speak to if I have any question relating to the issue that I have a question about. So we haven't had any issues. And on site, if we have any technical issues, then we have an auditor who's here, who's the IOPSA, accredited auditor, that will obviously give us the direction on what to do and what to improve on. So the communication, it's great for me. I'm no complaints so far.
Wonderful, thanks. So that's me finished in terms of questions. So now I'm going to hand over to you guys. Any questions that you have? Kurt, make it easy, please.
I'd like to know, Steve, where you actually started. Where did you come from? You might have been asked this before, but I actually don't know. I've never asked you.
So I've been in the industry for 47 years. Started off, I'll say, like everybody else, normal plumber, kicked it off, started a couple of businesses. I got involved with IOPSA through a very good friend of mine, Mike Drake, and that passion drove me. I was always that caused a bit of cuck somewhere, but it ended up with that purpose. Plumbing became more to just, it became the be all and end all. I wanted to know more, wanted to get involved more, wanted to train more. And that's how my journey progressed. It's gone from, businesses. When I talk business, I've lost a lot of money. I've made money. I've had mistakes that you will never have. I had one with a ship sinking. That's for another story. But and then I got involved with IOPSA. I went from working in the regions to regional chairman to president to representing South Africa at the World Plumbing Conference. I was part of setting up the PILB, in terms of going to Australia to go and see how they did it at the Plumbing Industry Commission. So plumbing, has been my passion, and helping people.
That's awesome.
I'm one phone call away. If I can't get back to you right now, I'll get back to you during the day. And I think for me, I want plumbers to learn from my mistakes so they don't make the same mistake. So that's it.
And then for instance, like when you have issues with plumbers that don't want to conform to what you guys are offering as PRB, I mean, what are you guys doing now to try and help those people to say, listen, we're actually benefiting you. We're not trying to make things difficult. We're actually trying to upskill you. Is there like a way that, because obviously there's people that are fighting it.
Oh, they're always going to be people. And I think the thing is that, we're always open to communication. I mean, I'll have communication with anybody. I'll have plumbers phone me, and I don't ask, are you registered, are you licensed, are you this? They're a plumber, they're in need, we'll help. And I think sometimes for me, from an IOPSA membership, or even for that matter from a PIOB registration, is that sometimes you'll have an individual that'll hear a lot and do nothing. But when he has a problem, then he sits back and he goes, who do I phone? And then he'll have that phone call and conversation. And I'd rather show the individual why they should be a member. So I won't send him away. I'll guide him and help him. And we've, using the word converted a plumber, we go, I didn't know this. Like your conversation that we have saying, shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Or I didn't know this. And, so all we want to do is our industry to be better, and that's really what it is that we do.
And the difference between IOPSA and PRB, like where does IOPSA step in and where does PRB
So
sit in?
if you have a look at IOPSA is literally a member organisation, and we're involved in training and building control officers and everything else. If you go to PIOB doesn't train. It's a registration, it's a monitoring of the performance of the plumber, and that's really the basic duties that's there. So you'll find that there's no PIRB doesn't do any training per se. They would guide you to, the tech talks and the things. PIRB may fund some of those things, but it's not, training is not their forte. Their specific realm is, registered plumbers. I mean, years ago, we used to have, every local authority used to have a registration or a form of registration, wherever it was. And now when that fell apart, if you go and have a look at it and say, where's there an active list of registered plumbers? There isn't. When you go and look into these, if you look at Cape Town and Durban and a few others, they've got their own sort of register.
Yes.
But, again, we know what the new municipalities are like. There's very little, they're more dysfunctional than they are functional. So when we look at that form of registration, how do you know that what you're getting is that licensed plumber? Like Tiro says, going back to the community and saying you are the real McCoy. And not every one of us learns something. And for me, I got to learn more because I need to engage with you and I need to engage with Michael. I need to, so sometimes I don't have all the answers and I've got to go and bounce off a couple of people that I know. But I think industry's changed by people. If we all sat back and we just said, well, somebody else can do it. And then we got some really good people, that are in industry, and that's your support, the support in this group that keeps driving us. And, for me, it's to have you here and everybody else on the couch.
Well, I think it's important as us plumbers being held responsible, like, I mean, you're saying, the educating side and doing certain things for like the COCs. I think it's important that we hold accountable for our work because, I've spoken to not just on the plumbing side, but other industries that are trying to get up to where, I'll be honest, they're trying to do what PRB is doing because they are not being monitored and controlled. So you can go in and do a certain installation under your trades, whatever it is, and when something goes wrong, nothing happens. Unless someone dies or there's a building that seriously gets damaged, then all of a sudden something gets introduced. Department of Labor gets involved in it. But at that point of where that person issues 1,000 COCs and nothing happened, and that's the sad part,
And that's the thing. I mean, when we look at PIRB, it's about accountability. We're accountable because some individuals will come and say, I've got a red seal. Okay, and let's be honest. I mean, the trade of plumbing, as you said, evolves on a daily basis. Things are changing. Everything else, and it's about that accountability. It's what Tiro said earlier. If you're engaging the services of a plumber or an electrician, you want the right person to be working in your home. Issuing a certificate of compliance, Lee Smith will tell you, a certificate, I can give you one, it's on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
But it's not that piece of paper. It's the accountability behind that. Who's going to be held responsible when something goes wrong? So, and I think that's what we want to try and get across. So for as many COCs that we see, and there are many that come through, there are either written, by the company or by the plumber, or they've downloaded it off the internet. And then because of PIRB, we'll get the, hey, I've got a COC. Well, let's establish which one it is, and you'll be amazed at how many will copy it. So I think, we're not there yet, and I think the support of the plumbers.
Yeah, but you're on the right path.
But we're on the right path.
I mean, the thing is, if you think about it, when someone's arguing with you and says that, why must my work be checked? Why is it that, I'm a qualified person, but again, I must be monitored like a child? But then I say to them, okay, are you scared of your work failing? Yeah. Do you know your regulations? Because they go, yeah, of course I do. So I said, okay, let's take someone there that's an auditor. Let's look at it. Let's look at the SANS book, and we can turn around and say, did you do it right or not? Yeah. Because if you fail to the SANS regulations, because listen, not all buildings and that can be done to SANS regulations, because most of them have been done very poorly. So if you noted it, that's fine, whatever. But let's say you could do it to regulation, and you didn't, but you said you know the regulation. Yeah. So then how is that fair to say that you guys are doing a poor job when it's actually the plumber that was poorly educated, still being stubborn on not wanting to further educate himself to be able to say that he knows the regulation? But that's where I feel that when they fight with me and they say to me, oh, but why are you doing this, Kurt? It's not worth it. And there's so many boundaries and so many walls and you have to try to do this and that. I'm like, but guys, at the end of the day, I'm being held accountable firstly. I am scared to be audited, as all plumbers are. I mean, when you call for an audit, you're like, did we do the right job? Did my guys do the right job? But the thing is, at the end of the day, I need to be held accountable and I need to know my regulations. So the only way to do is further skinning myself with CBD points, further skinning myself through PRRB to be able to say at the end of the day, I know what I'm doing. And the thing is, it's not like you guys are making up regulations. No. These are in the standards since what, like 1980, 1970?
And you'll be amazed at how many times we'll see it where the guys, the PIRB have got a new rule. PIRB doesn't make the rules. We enforce the rules. So it's like the law of the land. You know, the speed cop doesn't set the speed, you know, limit. I mean, it's literally, that's the speed limit. You know, he doesn't defend you in court. He just gives you the fine.
Yes.
And I think what you've got is very pertinent. And Michael, on your side, any questions?
My question is what? How did you get interested in this industry?
You don't want to know. Okay, I'll have to blank
Something
it
had to
out.
pay the bills.
So like I said, I had a bit of a dodgy, as a youngster, I was a little rather misbehaved. But my best mate, a chap by the name of Jeff Drennan, his father had a plumbing company in Belita. And over the weekends, we used to, for a couple of bob, you know, we'd go and work there in school holidays. And it just became a passion. It just became, you know, because of my, and I'm putting it on camera and out there, but because of my, I was like a bit of a dodgy oak, you know, I'd fight at the drop of a hat, and I had a bit of a drinking issue, and, you know, everybody became that big. But again, he took a chance on me and said, look, you know what, I want to bring you in here, get you going, and, you know, there's 9 apprentices. I was the only one that qualified. You know, I went to go and do the, when I say pass my trade test, and I just wanted to be better. You know, I wanted to, when I qualified, I wanted the journeyman, I wanted the foreman's job, I wanted the contracts manager's job. There was a goal, there was a path. And plumbing is, yeah, what got me to where I am today. I mean, I'm still full of cuck and I'm still there, and, you know, but yeah, get going. And I love plumbers. I think plumbers are the salt of the earth. And I think it's, people are saying to me, getting a phone call at 8:30 at night, whatever, but it's my passion. Because again, my belief is, who do you find? Who is that individual if you're in trouble or you need something at whatever time? And I put myself out there, you know, to be there. So for me, when I started off in this thing, I'm going to swear on camera, you know, my journeyman told me I was lower than shark shit. That was me. I didn't exist. But yeah, it's that goal, that passion, and it's helping people. And when I look at it, it's rewarding in itself. Tara, any questions from the Groot Gat?
Yes, the Diamond City. I actually want to commend you there, and that is very inspirational what you just said, your story and how you started, which is exactly what we're about: empowering the community, empowering the person who is good with their hands but could not make it through matric, maybe, or maybe they just barely passed matric, but they don't have the funds to go to university. And we can employ them, and they work 3 years under our licensed plumbers, and, you know, with that experience, if they can go through and the assessment and write a trade test, and they happen to be, you know, competent, then we take them through to the PRB assessment and get them licensed and get them going, get them, I mean, that's really what Kimberly Had in Mind is about, you know, training up people and ultimately for them to become professionals. But obviously everybody is responsible for their own growth. Some people are just, you know, they just want to stay at the same level. Some do want to grow and develop, but we do inspire growth and development. So that story is inspirational for us, because that's really what we're about, to have more professionals within our company, because the more professionals you have, I mean, the better you can serve your customers. And it is about experience as well, because a plumber can be qualified today, licensed today, unless they go through the CPD system throughout, they could still make many mistakes. And also, you know, what the gentleman was saying about the audits. You know, we shouldn't be afraid of audits, because that's where we learn. You know, when you get an audit, because you've been doing something over and over the same way, and then all of a sudden you're selected for a specific audit, and now you know, oh, I didn't know this thing should not be done this way. You know, it's a lesson learned. And so for us, it's been a journey of learning, and we had the privilege of subcontracting under a company that had a very, very good technical manager with great experience, 15 years experience. in the industry, and we've had many comebacks where he would tell us just from desktop images, just be like, you need to go back there, you need to go back there, you need to go back there, you know, to a point where now we're able to do the work avoiding comebacks, and that for us. But it's also a very it's not a good place to be in, to feel like you can do the work perfectly, because you still need to learn, you know, because things do change and grow at the same time. But anyway, without taking too much time, my question that I wanted to ask was it was in relation with, I've got two questions. One was company rankings. What are company rankings made out of? And when we say regional ranking and we say national ranking, what are we referring to? And I presume the company rankings is made up of the CPD points of the plumbers within the company. And I know that obviously it's continuous points, so it has to be done, you know, on a monthly basis. And what's the period of that? Is it monthly or 2 months, or how does it accumulate? And the second question is, how do we navigate the non-compliances? Because when we issue a certificate of compliance and then notifying through the you know, the online certificate of compliance done electronically, the customer will immediately get an email that has, in big capital letters, you know, urgent notice, non-compliance, you know, and for example, a geyser installation, and then we just obviously just put in those notices of non-compliance, like no R1 lagging installed and the pressure is unbalanced. Those aren't safety issues, but the customer will immediately call and say, what is going on? I thought you said the geyser is going to be installed correctly, you know? So how do we navigate that? Is there a way to sort of have a document, a quick template that's set up that says, that is PIRV assured, to say that those are not safety issues, don't worry about it. It just means that your pressure is unbalanced, and we have resolved that by just putting a non-return valve at the hot side of on the hot pipe of the geyser. And R1 lagging, that's if you want it. I mean, you don't have a heat pump connected to your geyser. It should be there for full compliance, obviously, but it's not a safety issue. So how do we navigate that as well?
So, Tira, long questions to ask, okay? So in terms of the ratings, again, it's going through every 3 months that's there. It'll be accumulated in terms of what you've performed, in terms of your CPD that's going through. Simone obviously keeps up to date with that. And then obviously in terms of the rankings, you know, per, you know, who's the top and which region will be based on what it is in terms of the ratings and stuff that you put forward. Okay, so it'll be from a national point of view and from a regional point of view. I don't know, I don't have all the stats in terms of who's participating and how it's going, but that's basically the run of where it is, and it's every couple of months that I think, Tira, I think it's up every 3 months that they relook at it in terms of that. Then going back to your question about non-compliance, so I'm going to disagree with you on a few things here, because again, you know, when we go and have a look at it, remember, you're certifying the work that you're doing. Okay, you're not certifying everything that was there before. When an insurance company comes along, and it becomes a challenge, and I had one last week where I spent quite a bit of time with the plumber, because there are certain aspects of that installation, as Kurt said earlier, that you can't fix. You know, that they are there and they've been non-compliant since day dot. What you're now doing is just bringing it to the attention of the homeowner in terms of those non-compliances. So when you talk about a balanced system and you're putting a non-return valve in there. Now, Kurt just had an issue that on an ad break that we had earlier about it. So let's look at what an unbalanced system can do. It can affect the warranty on your tank because of the back pressure coming through. It can put pressure on the pressure control valve. It can do various things. So that, in essence, would affect the client in terms of the warranty of the cylinder, whatever, and have the financial aspect there. So you may not be able to rectify it, but by putting the non-return valve in, yes, you've alleviated the problem from the tank, but you haven't made the system balanced. So somebody could still get burnt in the shower, what have you. When it comes to lagging, most certainly it's an economical thing. We're sitting here with load shedding, we're trying to do whatever we do. But, you know, when individuals come back and say, well, the outlet from the tray, for example, is not supported. Now, that's all fair and well until there's a leak and the pipe bends and it snaps and it causes 20, 30,000 rands worth of damage. So the mitigating factor of the matter is that you can't create any non-compliances, but you can advise the consumer of those pre-existing non-compliances, which you're doing in terms of your notice. The perception comes across from the insurer or from the consumer is that when you're replacing that geyser, that it's fully compliant. And the reality is that you're not. There are certain things that you're contracted to do, and there are certain things that are outside of that policy that the homeowner should be ensuring that they rectified. And Kurt's done it quite a few times, and maybe you can just jump in here. You know, how you've used that non-compliance notice to affect your bottom line in your business by making people aware of it. How have you done that? It'll maybe answer Tiro's question.
So, yeah, of course, I mean, you know, you've got to say to the client they've got an unbalanced system and stuff like that. And if you can't balance it, then you're going to be able to quote them for additional works and that. But on what we normally do, and this is the way that I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong in it, but in terms of the system's unbalanced, I don't give them a non-compliance for that. I put it in the description of the work that was done. I just say that please be advised the system's unbalanced. We have installed a non-return, you know, and maybe reasons why it needs to be upgraded to being compliant. So the client doesn't get a non-compliance, because the problem comes in with that is that, I mean, I've got a lot of body corporates to deal with. All of a sudden, insurance wants to shut down the whole insurance now. And it's like, but now what do? The system cannot be upgraded, or, you know, they don't have money for it and everything like that. So we go and say, okay, look, we're not going to issue the non-compliance. We're either going to give it to you in a letterhead, or we put it on the COC and say to them, listen, you know, the TP had to be in 22 millimeters, even though it was longer than the 4 meters. But, you know, this is the reasoning why: roof space, or it can go for the lagging, it can go for the unbalanced systems, putting in the non-returns and stuff. Yes, there is times when you can upgrade and you can quote for it, but there's times that you can't. Like I said, the pre-existing system is what it is. The geyser's in the middle of the building. Can't put a drip tray, can't do the TP. You got an unbalanced system that you can't make balance because the pipes run in ducts that you can't get to. So again, you're just going to state on there that, you know, these are the things that are non-compliant, but I'm not going to put them as non-compliant, because then the insurance will turn around and say that you will have no cover going forward. But as long as you've noted it to the client, at least they will know going forward that this system is not correct. But there's nothing we can do because of the building.
And you have that. And I think there are a lot of buildings that you go to, you know, the design from when they were designed originally, some of them all had, you know, either integrated boiler system, or they had combination geysers with one overflow. So it's virtually impossible to get those geysers up to a point of where they are compliant. But what you can do is also try and make them safe. So remember, like we've said, is that if you can't get it compliant, then get it safe. So there's many ways of working around it. And what I've found, and if I'm wrong, well, they'll shoot me for it. But, you know, again, when you're covering that insurance and you're giving a policy, then there should be checks and balances in there before you insure it. You know, don't come afterwards and go and say, well, now, Mr. Plumber, you're in trouble because, you know, the TP can't discharge out, or there's no support for the tray or the roof. So again,
I mean, like for us, we've done, even on our side, we've done 90-degree bends on TPs because of, look, we had a prime example where we were doing work at a school, and the TP was discharging where people could get hurt because it was just coming out the side. And this is where people park all the time, kids are walking up and down. So what did we have to do? We said, okay, we cannot, because of the position of the geyser, we cannot put 45, so we have to put a 90-degree bend. And it's noted in the COC that we did that, but we brought it down to the feet, so at least if it does open, that's what happens like that. So, you know, like you say, sometimes we just can't, and it is what it is, but at least we've made it safe. No one's going to be walking past, get burnt on their head or their shoulder. At worst case, it's going to run onto the paving. And yes, it's not 100% correct because of flow rates and they want 45-degree bends, but I've kept it safe so that the school's not going to get a lawsuit maybe somewhere down the line because we didn't make it better and safer for the people that are walking past.
And I think that's it. I mean, there's some things that we can do and some things that we can't. And I think it just goes back to, Tiro, the documentation that you're submitting and understanding it. So my one that I had last week, I'm engaging with the body corporate and I'm going, nothing can't be solved, but they're going to have to spend a hell of a lot of money to design and redesign the plumbing system to be able to make it, get it accommodated. In this particular one, they'd done sort of like a half job on it, and if they'd thought a little bit more about it, they could have made it better than it was. Now they're going to have to re-put up scaffolding and stuff like that. Then we'll just pick up and round off at the end of it.
You know, when it comes to the non-compliances, and you mentioned that you put it on the company letterhead, or you notify the client, but you don't put it on the COC. However,
it is on the COC that we will put it on there. Like, it'll be in the description. It'll say they installed 150 litre geyser. Underneath it'll say pressure is not balanced, so installed non-return, but PRV is positioned correctly to pressurize the geyser sufficiently. If there's an issue with the TP, because of the building design, I'll say that due to the building design, we are not able to correct the TP as to the requirements by SANS, but we have made it safe. We had to install a 90-degree elbow, or we had to do this thing to make it safe. Because, like, I mean, I've got a building where I live, actually, where the geysers are in the garages and the TP is discharged where the garden tap is, where people walk up and down. So we had to put a 90-degree bend coming down below shoulder height. And then there again, I'm stating in the COC, be advised. You could also do a letterhead as long as you didn't just attach it to the COC and issue it to the client. And then PRB is also noted about that to say, listen, because there is an attachment you can put on that on the website there to say, please see attachment on there. And then at least then that if they pulled for an audit, they see the COC, they see your letterhead, and if there's any other information or photos that you want to put on there. So you don't actually have to issue the non-compliance, so it doesn't affect the building, but you have issued them a warning stating you've done certain things to keep it safe, even though it might not be right.
Okay, so if it's in the description, it's not gonna you know, affect the audit. Now when the auditor comes and he sees that the pressure.
Yeah. So as long as it's been denoted in such a way and the client's informed, I think that's the biggest thing, as you've described it, is that the client's informed of the risks. They need to make sure of it. And again, it goes back to plain English. It's making sure that they understand, you know, what's going on. Yes, Michael, you wanted to add?
Yes, I need to add this, which means communication is much better than anything. If you see that there is something that you cannot do it, you need to communicate with the owner and notify him that this is the position of this and this according to the building. We can't change the building. That is the way that we can make this to work safer than to leave it like this.
Yeah, and I think Tira goes back. I think, you know, again, if you want to give me a call offline, we can go through a little bit more in terms of the detail. But I think for me, and I think I really just want to thank the three of you. I think, you know, today has really been good, you know, just to be able to sit and have a chat, you know, about, you know, our challenges and where we are and how things have been better. So Kurt and Michael and Tira, I really want to thank you guys for taking the time today to come and join us. I think it really is awesome to see how PIRB and CPD and everything else has benefited you. And then I hope that some of those guys that are watching are going to take from what you guys have to say, because for me, today, you know, normally it's myself or Brendan or Lee that is telling everybody, you know, CPD, and it's wonderful that you guys are here. So, any last words, Kurt, before we go?
No, thank you very much for having us.
Michael, my pleasure to have you. Dira, anything else?
I don't think I have anything else to add, but thank you. We are 100% with you. We support you. Whether certain people don't want to pay for COCs anymore, we will still do the COC. We will cover ourselves because we still want to be audited. Just like even in the industry of accounting, you can be a professional accountant and draft financial statements. You still want somebody else to review it, to look over it, to check it for you. Because, you know, your own work, you can't check your own work because there will be a bit of non-objectivity in that. So I think we are with you and we want the body to keep going. And we'd also like to get into now the public sector, you know, where we can start, you know, engaging with the municipalities and getting certain things in place, because we don't like being out of water, and we experience a lot of water cuts over here, and we want to solve problems. So we are here for that, and we are in partnership with you.
Thank you, Jared. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Wonderful. So I'm going to just wrap up. So another episode of On the Couch. Please keep sending your questions through, and Yeah. Thank you very much for everybody. Look forward to the next episode. Thank you so much. Take care.